Welcome, Ludovico Einaudi. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to have some time to talk to you in London.
Yes, it's a pleasure for me too.
So we're talking because you've got a new album coming out. So I thought it would be really interesting to find out a bit about how your brain works when you're composing. What happens?
Yes. At the beginning of an idea, I try not to involve too much my brain.
Okay, you feel it, do you?
And it's very nice when an idea comes out without knowing why it's happening. So there's something that there's a sort of impulse that comes out without knowing why. To achieve this, I generally every time I sit at the piano. I record all my sketches, all the little improvisation that I do. I have all these ideas recorded on most of the time on my phone, and after a while, maybe doesn't need to be a week after, maybe even after 2, 3 months, 6 months, I start to listen to them, and every now and then there is something that catch my attention, and then it depends what are my needs. Sometimes I have the need to develop an idea because I like to develop a piece of music by itself, but sometimes most of the times I have commitments and things to do. So, for example, if I am in the process of creating an album, I like to create a frame for the music. So I like to frame the music inside a concept, an idea that will host, will bring and will give a reason to the music to be in. Of course, it's always different. It has been always different in my production. For the albums, it has been sometimes a book. When I composed The Waves, that was coming from Leonde, from the Virginia Woolf book. I was inspired by walks in the mountains when I composed 7 Days Walking, and it was the idea of the variations because the idea was that every time you do a walk around the same path, but even if it's the same walk, it changes all the time with the seasons and the situation that happens around the same walk. So I think with music, performing even the same piece of music with some variations, it's like repeating that walk in different days of the year.
So it sounds like your mind is always open to fragments of music popping in, inspiration popping in.
Exactly.
And so what is the theme of the new album?
The new album is called The Summer Portraits. I was with my family in the countryside, in an island in the Mediterranean for my summer holidays. And we rented a house. It was a beautiful house. And I started to think at my summers and at the time that I spent since I was a child and the rest of the years to what the summer represents to me and what memories are connected to the idea of summer. Because for us in Italy, the summer, it was a very long time of the year. I mean, it was 3 months I was on the seaside with the family, and I was completely free and experiencing all the beautiful parts of life because you are completely free. You walk without shoes, you have ice creams, you go, you discover the physical side of life. You swim, you run, you enjoy the rain when it arrives, and you walk in the forest. And you have you experience your first friends, a group of friends. Maybe you find your first love, and then you come back to the city in September, October, and the lights start to dim out, and then you're going back to school, and it's like for me it was like going back to prison in a way, and then you wait for the next year to experience again that vibe. And for me, it was a very important moment because all the most beautiful experiences for me are still connected to that moments, those moments of my life. And I was starting to think that maybe it's an idea that I can share with other people, because probably many other people have the same, similar, even different, but similar idea of the summer.
Was music an important part of your childhood? When did you first pick up an instrument?
My mother was playing piano at home. She had a upright piano. She was not a professional pianist, but she played Bach, Chopin, all the classical repertoire, and also she enjoyed a lot of different kind of styles of music. She was playing Satisfaction from the Rolling Stones or the Beatles songs. Music for her was very important because her father was a conductor. When she was 12, he went away from Italy. He went to London and then to Australia. He moved to Australia. He went away for political reasons during the fascist time, because he didn't want to conduct the music that was obliged to do before the concerts. The same was happening with Toscanini. He didn't want to conduct the hymn of the fascists. And so my grandfather went there, and then the war started, and he couldn't come back. Then he was conducting operas in Australia, Italian operas. And then immediately after the war, he was ill and he couldn't come back anyway. So for my mother, I think music was a way to be connected with him. It was this sort of missing relation that she felt all her life, and music was a way to heal.
And did you feel that power of music then yourself as a little boy? Were you picking up all of this?
And for me, and there was a moment, I remember, I don't know what was my age exactly, but probably I was 8, 9 years old, where I started to understand those feelings that were coming from that music, and this was like a sort of nutrition for my soul to have those emotions coming from the music. And so, to go back to your question, I started to play piano when I was 5, 6 years old. When I was 9, 10, it was the time of the Beatles, and I was very attracted by their music and by the guitar. So I was playing piano, but I enjoyed very much also playing guitar with alone or with my friends, and so we had a little band. I was loving all different kind of music. For me, the choice was related to the emotion that the music was giving to me, not to the fact that something was classical or pop or whatever it was. So I kept following my instinct in music, even if at a certain point I decided to investigate deeply what I was doing, going to school, to the conservatory, and to study properly the instrument and to study composition. The final idea was to keep this flame of the emotion alive, and to search how to make it grow inside myself, and to relate with the music in that way. Not to, I was not interested in creating something spectacular that was maybe cold and very refined. I needed to to catch that flame of emotion that I was searching for.
You know, you're the most streamed classical artist. I think there's 1 million streams per day of your music. Your albums sell hugely, more than 1.5 million album sales. Your tours sell out. You've described all the different inputs into your development. It's almost like you're a rock star of classical music. Is that what it feels like to you sometimes, with the connection you have with people?
It's strange because I feel detached from the pure classical, because the pure classical is a world where performers play some music that was composed in the past, and I'm completely inside the world that I'm composing and performing music that is that I compose every day. And so I think there is a different perspective. Sometimes when I'm working with classical musicians, I feel that distance in a way, because they are relating with scores that nobody knows exactly if they were written to be performed in a way or another. And I mean, there are great interpretation, of course, but in a way, I have a different freedom, because I compose and I can add instantly a new coda or an introduction, or I can play one of my melodies slower than is written. Nobody tell me that is wrong, and I enjoy very much that freedom, that approach that is very instinctive. It's very simple in a way. It's like I like the fact that I can play music as I talk, because there's not anyone from the past that is looking at me and say, no, you cannot do that. I can be completely myself. This is what I like about my work.
Not that you have to pigeonhole yourself at all, or that anyone has to pigeonhole you, but I wondered, would you call yourself a classical artist? How do you think of yourself?
In a way, yes, because I write music, and the music and the fact that my music can be performed by other people makes it classical.
But some people do kind of pigeonhole and think classical music isn't for everybody. If you like classical, you're not necessarily going to like other genres. I mean, you've very much described that you go with whatever you like. So where are your music tastes, and is there anyone that you would like to collaborate with outside of the classical world?
I'd love to do a collaboration with Eminem.
Okay. Have you ever tried to reach out to him?
No, not yet, but there's an idea, because I had some experiences with rap music. And I think the two, my music with a voice like that could work very well. It's something that I'd love to do.
I love that idea. I do hope you do it. Classic FM has been a big champion of your music since, I think, nearly 30 years. How did it feel when you started to get that traction on radio and started to hear your own music?
I was very happy and to see that England was one of the first places where my music was loved, and of course to start to be popular here was a great satisfaction for me.
You've said that your music is a manifesto for slowing down. So I wonder what, for you, the power of music is.
We have created a world that is made of machines, artificial intelligence, and whatever we are building. That is, sometimes I feel it's crazy, and if you look for the simplicity, for what really matters to you, and you touch something that is quite unique and pure, and it's beautiful.
I wanted to ask you about a couple of viral moments that you've had. That one in particular here in London, Royal Albert Hall, the organ. You sort of put your foot on the pedal, I think it was, and your face just lit up.
Yeah.
Was that the first encounter that you'd had with an organ?
Well, not the first encounter, but the organ of the Royal Albert Hall sounds incredible. And I remember the bass note. I think it's a D. It's I could sleep with that D, and it's a surrounding sound that is creating in that hall a vibration that is so beautiful, and I enjoyed it so much.
Would you write music for organ? Would you?
Yes, absolutely. I love the sound, and I'm using some organ in the tour that I'm doing now. I'm using there's one musician that is playing with an electric organ. That is different, of course, than from the one of the Royal Albert Hall. But I like that sound. Yeah.
So then, I'd just like to ask you a bit more about that extraordinary connection that you have with people, because you do speak to people who otherwise might think that classical music isn't for them. They use your music as the soundtrack to their lives on social media. I think Experience is particularly one that gets used for that.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that?
Well, I think it's extraordinary even for me, because I wouldn't have thought to arrive to touch so many people in the world. And it's very beautiful, but I think in a way there was a dream about that, to be able to write a music that was able to connect with so many people. So there was my input was there, but I wasn't sure that it was going to happen. The feeling that I have when I start to play the first notes, and if I turn my face to the audience, I can see the joy. I can feel it, even if I don't turn my face. I can feel something. It gives you back all the efforts, the work, the amount of work, the fact that you are working so hard for so many years. It's coming back in that moment.
It's so great to talk to you, and I think one of the things that I am just enjoying so much is this like sense from you of just such pleasure and joy that you have in your work and your life.
Well, it's a life that I was able to build myself, and even if sometimes I'm when I have to travel a lot. When I dream to be home for some days and spend more time with my family. But there is a joy that probably is equalize everything, and makes all these moments, I start to forget about them. Even now, for example, I'm very happy to be here and talk with you about my work, my music, and I'm looking forward to the moment where the people will listen to what we are talking about now, and see.
Thank you so much. It's been fantastic to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you.